Hello everyone, today I am going to show you how we not only clean what we call sand bass, some people call them striped bass, whatever you want to call them. You can use this same technique for bass, striper, and this is a way that we can use the entire fish. I want to show you today what we do. Last night my son and I, Seth, we went fishing and we caught, he outfished me. I caught 4, he's got 1 arm in a sling, and I caught 5. I'm sorry, I caught 4 and he caught 11. So we're going to show you how we clean one of these today, give you an idea, but we're also going to show you what we do to get our catfish bait so that the next time we go catfishing we'll have catfish. So first of all, I put them on my fillet board. You go right behind this fin, and I cut back towards the head. Do not cut towards your fingers. My older son Noah, a couple nights ago, he decided he'd cut towards his fingers and he gashed himself, and so he's recovering from a fillet knife. But anyway, you go and you don't cut through the backbone right here. You cut to the backbone and then you turn your knife and then you follow down through the rib cage. You follow that backbone. Now I like to pick it up just a little bit so I can get my knife in there better. And you'll find whatever. So the more you do it, the more you're going to find. So what I'm going to do, what's the easiest way for you. What I'm going to do is I'm cutting all the way, and you can see till the end, but I'm not cutting through. And you don't have to scale your fish. Just every once in a while, clean your knife blade off, get the scales off. But then you'll see something. We have a side of the fish. We have the rib cage. You can see here we have the rib cage, and we have the skin, and we have it still attached to the fish. But do not start your fillet process yet. You can if you do not catfish, but what we do is we take and we cut right behind this fillet, right behind the rib cage. As you can see, here's the ribs, and we cut all the way through the skin. Now there's a reason we do this. This rib cage is an excellent catfish bait. Excellent. So what you'll see is you see the rib cage. On the other side you see a shad looking set of scales, which really help you with your hooks when you hook through. It really helps you, and that is one catfish bait right there. Excellent catfish bait. You do this with stripers, you do this with, but you make sure you leave the skin on your bait. It holds your hook on there a lot better. So we throw that over here in that one, and then of course we're going to have a few scales on it. Then we literally start, and you want a really flexible knife. I like a 7 or 8 inch knife, and what you do is you cut right along, and I like to pick up, so I'm cutting right along. I'm not cutting down so I don't cut through the skin, but I'm picking up just a little bit with my knife being flexible, and I am going to fillet that meat off the skin. So I have just a nice fillet with no bones. And then I turn the fish over. Now if you notice, I've got him hooked up to where I can pull against him. And I do the same thing. Here's your fin. You go right behind him, and you go down, and you go, don't cut through the backbone, and you cut. Now this time you're not going to be able to see this side, but I'm going to cut right through, right along, like I did the other side, this backbone. Right along this backbone. And I'm going to turn my knife as I cut, and you're going to hear it crunch through some bones. You want a real sharp knife to do this. And I'm going to pick it up just a hair. And as you can see, I'm cutting as close as I can to the back of the fish. I'm not cutting through the backbone, I'm cutting down the length of it. And I get down here to the tail, and I don't quite cut through. Now this one I didn't do as good a job and didn't get all that meat, but that's going to be fine. As you can see here, this one's got a few eggs in her. Not quite ready to spawn, but you can see that here's the rib cage. I've got the old fillet where I've taken the rib cage out. I've got the skin left where I took the fillet off. I'm going to go right down by that rib cage, and I'm going to angle my knife away from me. I'm going to cut all the way through that skin. I'm going to press hard, and I'm going to cut away from me, and I'm going to cut through that skin. And as you see, I've cut through the skin. I have another rib cage with the skin on it. Put that in my bait bowl. Now some people will take this striper or rib cage of a bass, and they'll put some garlic on it and let it dry. It's up to you. I like to just freeze them. The skin on them is gonna help hold that hook in, and so they won't get mushy on you like a shad will. And then as you see, I took the fillet right off the skin, and there'll be a few scales on it. You have to rinse these, but always take your knife. Take my knife and I clean off the scales on my knife as good as possible on the side of my board. Throw that in. This fish now is used completely. I've got his fillets off of him. I've got my bait for the future off of him. That fish is completely done. I throw him in my bait bucket and I go to grab my next one. And I'll show you one more time. What I do, I like to clean off my scales. I don't need those as much as I can. Clean off my knife. Take this sand bass. Now we caught these last night. I put them in water and held them overnight. And these sand bass, we caught them in Huani Creek over on Lake Texoma. They're running right now, but I'm gonna do it in real motion here. We're gonna go behind the little fin, go up to the backbone, cut down straight. We're gonna take and turn it, not cut through the backbone, turn it and go down beside the backbone. And there you go. We're cutting down by the backbone. And as you can see, I'm trying to get as close to that spine all the way down, and I'm not going to cut all the way through. You can see I've left it attached. I'm then going to take and I'm going to cut through I'm going to save my rib cage. Because that's how you perpetuate one fish into more when you go fishing. Then we go and we're going to cut the fillet off of the skin as close as we can, lifting up just a hair, holding it down. There you go. There's a nice fillet. I'll have to rinse the scales off of it, but it doesn't have any bones. I'm going to flip the fish over, do the same thing. And the more you do it, the faster you get at it. But just cut. See how I'm cutting away from my hand? Make sure you cut away from your hand. Don't cut your hand off. This is something my 18-year-old has yet to figure out. He wants to go in here and cut like this. That's not a good idea. Not with a fillet knife. And you slide it all the way down to the tail. Get as much of that meat as possible. Rotate it over. Do not fillet it. Now if you don't need catfish bait, you can just go ahead and fillet it and then trim off. But I like to leave the hide on here, so I want to cut through it right here and take my bait. Then I'm going to go right through and I'm going to clean off that fillet off the skin. And there's no need to descale or anything. Just throw that in the water and take your fish off and you're done. That's our lesson for today. Hope this was helpful, and I hope you catch lots of fish with your newfound bait, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.